everybody. Welcome to a spooky movie episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's with me tonight?
Oh, I don't know. Tiffany Albertin.
and Bill Tucker. We have to really figure out who's going to talk first. I'm assuming Tiff is the new Michael. So
I forgot to say something. Normally, lately, I've been good about it, but I forgot this time.
I was oh, it's my turn.
I'm still adjusting. So this is my pick. This is something that I've been trying to cover on the show for, I want to say, 2 years. I've been trying to get people to do this with me, and it hasn't worked out very well. We are covering the 2002 Resident Evil film, directed and written by Paul W.S. Anderson. Because,
good old Paul. Yeah, good old Paul W.S.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't make great movies usually.
No, he's not an acclaimed director. He makes a lot of movies, but
I do recognize his picture though.
No.
Oh, really?
That's weird.
Oh, he wasn't married to Mila yet until 2009.
He started dating her. So there's a whole thing. My wife was explaining a lot of the dirt behind it, because evidently Mila was like dating somebody at the time. Then she started messing around with Paul W.S. and evidently it was a whole thing. But yeah, they started dating right after this movie. And as you can tell from one of the first scenes, he's got a thing for her. So we'll address that in a bit. Mike, did you enjoy this movie this time around?
I still did. So okay. I have a funny story with this, because I was in middle school, I think 8th grade, when this movie came out, and I was terrified of. I didn't like movies, like I didn't like horror, and I remember I loved Resident Evil, even though I couldn't play the games back then at this time. And I
scared him too.
I did, yes. And I wanted to see this movie, and I never did see it in theaters. I was too scared to see it in theaters. But I remember seeing the trailers. I remember being like, "Oh man, I want to see this," but it couldn't happen. It wasn't until it came out in VHS that I went and watched it at some point.
You didn't want to be embarrassed in front of your friends?
Maybe. Movie still freaks me out though.
I mean, we were talking about it a little bit before, and Tiff was saying how this is not really a horror movie, and I tend to agree. It's got some jump scares. It tries.
I say it's a suspense thriller.
Yeah, it's an action thriller with very minimal action. Just not much. But again, we'll talk about that as well.
I disagree, but okay, we'll go with that.
He's scared of zombies. It's okay.
I don't know what it is about this movie, but this movie actually freaks me out.
Is that why you didn't sleep last night? You had nightmares?
No, it was about the job, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know. This movie just freaks me out. I mean, I don't do well with any type of horror movie in general, even though I know this is more action than horror, but still horror to me.
There's some scary stuff in it, right? Actually, this movie, and I'll talk about it a little later, I have a note on it, was initially almost NC-17. And Mr. Anderson had to cut some stuff out. And I can tell exactly where these things were. There's one in particular where I know it was cut. And I'll explain it in a sec, when we get there. So this was actually supposed to be more gruesome. And I'm glad it's R, because you can't do a Resident Evil film that's R. Are any of the other ones PG-13?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they all are R-rated movies.
Okay, good.
Because they all are pretty violent. I've never seen the last one, but from everything I've seen, they're pretty violent movies. They are not. They keep this up. I mean, because the second one is also pretty violent and pretty good, and then the third one is garbage, but then it gets weird after that. The fourth one is when they love 3D, and you can tell it was a 3D movie during that time.
Oh, boy. Oh, no.
I only got into the first one, so...
I've never seen any of these. Yeah, I've never seen any of these. Tiff, what did you think about it this time around?
I liked it. It's not my favorite movie, and definitely, like you said, definitely not a horror movie, but I'd probably watch it again.
You will.
I will? Oh, God, for what?
I don't know. I just put this... Every so many years, I rewatch this movie.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. I just do.
Well, then I won't have to pay as close attention next time.
Neither will I. It'll be a while.
It'll be on the background while you're, putting up Halloween decorations, maybe, or cooking dinner. You just kind of have that on. This is I don't know whether this is a good, bad movie or a bad, average movie. I think this all evens out to average with elements of bad and then cheesy good. And I'll explain some of the good stuff as we go through, and of course some of the bad. I was very divided, and I walked away from this. I'm like, and mind you, I was actually watching this while doing something else, which I rarely do for this show, but I had to. Okay. I had to do two things at once last night. So,
this is a movie where it doesn't matter.
No, I figured. As I said to somebody on the Discord, the other Discord I was on. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go watch Resident Evil now for a podcast I'm recording tomorrow with a friend, but I'll watch the stream too because I don't think I need to pay that much attention. I think I can just have it in the periphery and get what I need. So yeah,
It's that kind of movie. Especially, I mean, one thing that I was always interested in the movie because I like the Resident Evil series, but I was always scared of it. And this is kind of based on the first game and the second game, but not. It's its own little thing, but it tries. Yeah, like that. The whole tram you see them, that's completely from 2. That isn't in 1. There is a lab under the mansion, but it's not connected to the city. That's something completely different. There's 2 different labs. I can go on and on about.
Okay. Thank you.
But that's one of the things that I thought was interesting. Like the hive is something completely new for this movie.
Yeah, I thought so. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's based on stuff from 2, but the 2 lab is nowhere near that size, nor is the 1 lab, because they just didn't do that. But I also like how this movie starts off with text, just explaining who Umbrella is and how Umbrella has products everywhere. Like I like that. I thought that was cool. It was a cool little intro, I felt. I
mean, you need that info dump, right? We have no time to waste on developing what Umbrella is. Evil corporation, big theme. Corporation's bad. We get that. Our cop friend gives us that little exposition dump in about an hour. But could they have found a better voiceover guy for that? I'm like, this guy does not sound menacing or serious. I felt like they just grabbed the production assistant off the lot and were like, hey, do me a solid, read these lines real quick.
None of these actors, except for Michelle Rodriguez, really they don't even say people's names in this movie. It wasn't.
I had no idea. Yeah, no idea.
They're all just nicknames or anything.
But they don't even say them. Because I was actually kind of paying attention because I knew a little bit. They never say Alice's name, which is Mila Jovovich's character. I'm pretty sure they never say Alice in this movie.
No, not once.
Because she doesn't have her memory. They don't know who she is.
They look up her ID. They know exactly who she is when they get in the building, but they don't say a word. Like you think in a normal movie, they'd be like, oh, your name is Alice, not come with us.
You'll remember. It's okay.
Well, yeah, and they evidently know her. That's what's so muddled about this movie is a lot of the characters. They're all very disposable. I will talk about how much I love Michelle Rodriguez in this movie. She's so good and fun.
How she is in every movie. But
so much fun. She saves this movie. If it weren't for her, it would really be. Again, we'll get into it as it's really just army guys running around shooting things for 45 minutes. That's all it is. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I like that though for some reason. Like I like the fact that how this movie starts off with that, and then you have it shows the guy putting the viruses together. And as somebody who loved the video game, I thought it was so cool to see the virus in those little cases, which I think were already in the game, that style of vial. But then it became a bigger thing because of this movie. Like I'm someone that actually wants to buy the little vials and have them in a cabinet in my house just because
they're neat. Cool. They actually are.
But I like Resident Evil a lot.
No, I mean it's, and I as I wrote my notes, the grabby guy grabs the grabby robot. Well, it's not a robot; it's a guy in a suit, but he grabs the unnecessarily complex tubes of blue liquid. Really, yeah. You need to have all that tubing inside your vial. I mean, and again, these are things I'm picking up as I'm doing other things. So perhaps that's just me being persnickety.
No, I think it's just the movie. I mean, because again, it starts off with the guy who ends up grabbing the vials, throws a vial, and breaks it in a room, and the room seals right as he's leaving. And I get the point of why that happens in this movie, but it's like that is so stupid in one aspect.
I thought it was very dumb as well. Again, obviously it pays off at the end because you realize who that person is. But yeah, Tiff, what'd you think about that kind of open?
I missed that part. I wasn't paying close enough attention. Because I looked up, I was like, wait, what happened? Well, he just threw a vial and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay, let's go.
Yeah, I didn't stop the movie.
Also, we skipped over a tradition on the show, which is the title screen. We got it right after the exposition dump of Umbrella. So
they have to. This is not a known entity where you can wait to the end of the movie to give you the title screen.
Right. That's right. This is the early 2000s. We weren't doing that yet.
Oh, that's more of an MCU thing, I think, too, because you're such an established movies. I want to say we watch way too many MCU movies, so that's why I keep thinking of that. But
you guys do.
Yes, I know. But I also really like the way it starts off with this movie, where he throws that whole scene leading up to what's going to happen, where you have the guy, he runs to the guy and spills the guy's coffee on his shirt. He's like, you're rude, which comes back to play later. I like that. I like all the people start freaking out and the gas starts coming everywhere. Like, I think that's a really good startup scene to tell you what, foreshadowing where this movie is going. It's also pretty freaky. It freaked me out. Like when the water starts and they're getting flooded and the guy grabs the axe, he's like, I'm gonna, and he hits the window and one little speck of glass comes off and that's it.
The fortified glass.
You know they're screwed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much over.
Moment.
I like this. I like this opening actually quite a bit. I like this. This is I'm always here for corporations experimenting on their own people. I really do like that trope. So even in games by like Fallout and Vault-Tec and Portal, and when the corporation is doing evil things to its own people and messing with them, it's somehow for some reason makes me smile. Like, oh, it's just a fun trope for me. You got three things going on here. You have your elevator. We have the lab. The elevator's cool, and the lab.
Elevator.
Yeah, and then we have the everyday people on the in the hallways.
Oh, nobody gets out of this.
No one gets out of this unscathed. And the escalation is actually really good too, where they're starting to realize, oh, this isn't a fire drill. This is a real thing. Oh, we can't get out. What's going on? This is scary. And it's a very terrifying feeling to be trapped, So
yeah, and they know they're underground. They know, I mean, even though you see the window when they walk by, we're like, well, look, they're outside, but they know where they are. I mean, they're not unaware that they're working in a giant, hive underground.
Right.
They're aware of that. And like the whole elevator scene when they're in the elevator and you hear the other elevator drop and the people screaming and they like, oh god, they know they're next.
Yeah, and it's also got that really bad CGI of the elevator falling. There's so much bad CGI in this movie. It's actually kind of delicious and fun.
It's 2002.
But it was so cool when we saw it the first time.
I still think it's cool.
I don't remember.
I don't know. This is the first time I've seen this movie, so I mean, I don't have a recollection of the past, but maybe it would have been acceptable. Yeah, I'm always down for corporations messing with their employees.
And then like the elevator scene where she sticks her head out and then it stops right before she's about to die and then it goes the other way and still kills her.
That I guarantee you was cut. That had to have been a cut thing for NC-17 reasons. Because at this point, I'd forgotten if this was PG-13 or R. And I'm now waiting because me, as you know, Mike, I'm insane. I'm a crazy person. And so I'm like, oh, she's going to get her head lopped off. This has to happen. Come on. And it goes up and it just cuts as she gets decapitated. And I go, come on. Come on. This can't be PG-13, can it? Come on.
But that makes sense. That had to be something they had to cut.
It had to be. There's no way. Given the provenance of this film and where it goes, this had to have been a cut for censorship reasons.
You're just waiting for it. Like, stop. Go, stop.
No, they just kill her.
And then they just kill her. I like the one guy that's like, I gotta get out of here. You always have the one guy. I gotta get out of here. I can't breathe. Get me out of here.
I mean, the fact that the gas is in the hallways, like you're dead no matter where you are.
I'd rather be the people in the hallway. They died right away.
Yeah, they did die pretty quick.
No suffering, no drowning, no scare.
Yeah. I mean, fall in an elevator would be terrible.
Yeah, I'd rather be the people in the hallway.
Just start choking and collapse and then faint.
Yeah.
You're done.
That's basically it. Yeah.
Better than drowning.
Yeah.
So drowning, as has been well established, I hate water. So drowning is literally the most scary thing I can imagine. Just no, thank you.
And then this is when you get introduced to the main character, and she wakes up in the tub. That's what I put in my note.
It's a shower.
I guess, yeah. But I'm assuming just another scene that was probably cut because you can almost see things that I'm pretty sure would have made it NC-17. So
almost even. She had a shower curtain wrapped around her.
Yeah, but I feel like this is probably they had to cut
Very
stuff.
see-through shower curtain.
Well, yeah. Well, it had to be a shower because we wouldn't have gotten all the horny. You see, if it was a tub, she would have been covered by porcelain or whatever those tubs are made out of. So it had to be a shower. This is obviously the scene, of course, where Paul W.S. Anderson is rather horny for Miss Djokovic. So, and it's very clear from the very beginning. It's okay, I don't know.
It's unnecessary.
My first thought was her hair is not wet, but then when you do flashbacks, it shows that she didn't even barely turn on the water when the gas came down. But I was like, she's taking a shower, her hair is not wet.
It was 4 hours though. She was passed out before they came, I think.
No.
Yeah, it's about 4 hours. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they say later on, Cube Guy tells her it was 4 hours to happen before they got there.
He said up to 4 hours.
No, up to a month your memory doesn't come back.
No, okay, whatever. I'm not going to argue that point.
And I get a big kick when she starts wandering the mansion because some of those rooms are kind of from the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that made me really smile.
No, that's cool. I like they do that. That's always fun.
I mean, it's completely wrong of how it works in the game, but hey, because also that mansion is not that close to the city. Like it shows you, like it's a lot farther than that. Because in the game, originally the mansion has an outbreak and people are killing people out in the woods, but it's far, like it's not close to the city. I forget how many miles, but it's far enough that it doesn't contaminate the city. That's neither here nor there. But I did enjoy seeing that. And I also like when the soldiers just bust in. I think this is a cool scene. You see everyone just break in the windows and they just come in and arrest her real fast, pretty much.
She doesn't know her name or what's going on.
But they know who she is. But they don't tell her name. They don't say anything. They just say, we work for the same corporation.
She's bouncing around in this little mini dress.
Which is the strangest design. I mean, a lot of this movie, it's the strangest dress. And I'm actually, because it's on the movie poster, and I'm looking at it right now. It's like, I don't know who made that. There's a lot of this movie is predicated on the idea of cool. Like, it's just got to be cool. And cool before sense or sensibility or plot reasons or anything else. No. It's just cool. Like her dress.
Not even from the game, I don't think.
No.
Like, if you wake up with no memory and like, okay, I gotta figure things out, your first thought is to put on this mini dress and some boots and go explore an unknown place.
Because the dress was out.
It was out. It was out for her, and she was naked. She can't walk around in like a sheet, all in her satin sheet that barely clings to her body. She can't do that.
Why not? I mean, you get more watches probably.
You also get NC-17 that way.
I don't know. It's funny. I had when I see the mansion, I had thoughts of like Tomb Raider, and I was waiting for a butler to come walking in, like all shaky. I don't know. I don't know. That was the first thing that came to my brain.
I don't know. I just get a kick out of how when the guards come in and they take off their masks right away, because part of this they're supposed to be. Umbrella always has a special forces, which is introduced in the second game, that comes in when there is a spill or there is an accident, and their jobs kill everyone. So I like seeing them. That's what the mask and everything was from. We don't get the famous characters, or the one famous character from Resident Evil 2, Hunk, but we get exposable people who don't even make it more than half an hour in this movie. Some of them.
His name is Hunk?
Yes.
Oh, is he a hunk?
Nah, he's a little guy.
Oh.
I also got a big kick out of the train, like when they go down to the train and they're getting it set up, because again, that's a reference to the game where you have a train in the second game that takes you down to the lab and gets you out of the lab in the very end. So I got a kick out of that, even though it's not connected to the mansion. It's not how this works, but hey, I'll take it. I did have a question though. When they're on the train's running. All of a sudden, they open the door and the guy's just clinging to the door. If he were passed out from nerve gas, I don't think he'd be clinging to the door. I think he would have been flown off the door and flying, and been dead.
Right, but then we wouldn't have introduced one of our main characters. So
yeah,
that would have been okay
He's
though.
The bad guy.
You didn't meet him. Umbrella's a bad guy, but yeah, I know.
Yeah, I just want to go back. I'm sorry. I just want to go back to when that first train, because we're starting to get introduced to our characters that we never know their names. So again, I just put their face descriptions, like computer guy, and I don't know. I forgot what I have in there. But there's a moment there when Michelle Rodriguez, who again is just a delight in this movie, she's really great. She goes down to fix the train, which really just involves her plugging it back in to something. It's like, oh, that was straightforward. But does offer, yeah.
The vent is chewed up too.
Yeah, that's cool. And he does a pretty good job with introducing these kind of suspenseful elements. One of the first of our many jump scares. There was one before that in our little jumps, and fake outs. So, of which there are a lot of in this movie.
Yes, and they still freak me out, even though I knew they were coming.
Oh, I like when the people in the lab, the lady wakes up and puts her hand.
I don't.
Oh, I like that. It's one of my favorite parts.
The underwater when she's
yeah. When they haven't opened the doors yet and they're just looking at the dead bodies floating. When they walk away, the lady's eyes pop open.
It's a good one. And it's funny. I was thinking, I saw that scene. That's it. Jump too far ahead. I'm watching it going, oh, I know what's going to happen. Wait for it. Wait for it.
I said that too.
Okay, there we go. That's neat.
It is, because I like how the beginning of this movie is so slow too, in a way, like just building up what's coming. Like you're getting a team together of these random people that they don't even have names. Like one guy's named JD. I don't know the other guy who almost lived to the end. Michelle Rodriguez's character's name, Rain. I only know that because she says it in the very end of this movie. Like none of the people matter. And like, yes, I get it.
The team leader guy, the black guy, I call him team leader.
But I don't think he even said his name.
Oh.
And we had subtitles, so I could see if they say his name. They never say his name. I just call him Cube Guy now.
Cube. Oh.
That's his name now.
I don't remember what I put them down as, but they are very disposable. And as we're going to find out in about 20 minutes, they mostly all are just gone. Wait,
it doesn't take long.
No,
and
it
just
does
like
not.
this is also when you see the entrance of the hive, and you get the whole backstory about the hive and the mansion, and how you work here, and we're special lab, and people live down there, and I don't know where the hell they live, but I thought that was, you have to get your stuff in so people know what's going on real fast, and I think they do a good job of doing it entertaining, where it's like I was invested.
Is this the scene where we get our mini map from the video game? Where kind of like
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that scene, by the way. But that's the video game in me is like, oh yeah. The gamer in me sees that, and I get all excited.
As the film person, I look at that and say, "Oh, you didn't want to film a transition from this scene to the next, so we'll just shove this in here whenever we just don't feel like shooting something."
Yeah, that's probably what it was. That makes more sense, and I don't think he was trying to appeal to the gamers. I think he probably was just trying to fill a scene.
But it worked.
Just trying to save some money. Let's be honest. He had a budget.
Yeah, $33 million was his budget for this movie.
What did it gross?
100.
Oh.
So it made money. That's why we got 5 sequels.
It did well. Yeah, it did well.
And this is when you have them going down the stairs, and they start talking about the Red Queen, and how the Red Queen is this computer that shut down for some reason. And I don't know if they said that she killed everybody, or they don't know yet. I can't remember.
The Red Queen's a pretty neat concept. Again, I love, like, rogue AIs are always pretty great. But all this thing we're talking, as they're progressing through the video game levels, with all the barrels to hide behind and all the cover, Gears of War style. I do like the fact of the Red Queen constantly tracking them, like obviously looking at them and seeing what they're doing. I think that's a really cool concept.
Oh, where all the cameras keep moving to focus on them. Yeah, that because to me I'd be shooting the cameras out if I were them.
But she would still know where you were.
Yeah, but the me would have been like, I don't like that. I don't like being watched like that. That would bother me.
They notice it though.
Probably not. I would, and I'm not a special forces. I just watch cameras. I keep track of cameras.
Paranoid.
I wouldn't go that far, but
Okay.
I keep track of cameras.
We'll say that.
But this is also when she Mila, because I don't say her name. She touches the other guy, the villain, and then she remembers they had sex. They have the little scene. He's like, "Did you remember anything?" No, nothing.
Did you? Did you just remember we had sex?
Again, that scene didn't. I mean, it makes sense because you have the picture where she's seeing that he was her husband, her fake husband, and all that crap.
It's so tangential to like the actual plot. It's important, but that we're bombarded with so much cool, and so much jump scare and so much everything else that a lot of this story that's the actual driving force of the plot gets really lost in this, and it's extremely straightforward. I mean, it could not be simpler, this plot.
Like what we just talked about, this is the spot with where she opens her eyes, they walk by the flooded rooms.
No, I don't think that's it. I think that's later.
On my notes. Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, no, you're right. It is. Sorry, you're right.
Oh, you're good. This movie just blows past. Like, you don't even, it's just, because this is the part where everything's still kind of leading up. Everybody's still alive. There's no action happening. This is where I guess they're trying to build the suspense to the giant action movie that's about to happen soon. This is when they find out they can't go through the main hall because everything's flooded, and they have to go through the dining room. And it's not really a dining room. It's a room full of cases. And they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Which to me, I get it, because it's, they're feeding experiments is how but
what are they feeding those
experiments? They weren't, that's not in the games.
Oh.
Well, we mean the brains, like all the brains that are with needles in them that I smiled and clapped at.
The liquors are from the game, but they don't work the way they work in this movie. The liquors also aren't that big and aren't that strong.
No.
They also are the size of regular people. So, and I think and I got confused in this scene because they're in the here, and all of a sudden they go to the computer room. I'm like, where's Michelle and the other guy? And where's the fake cop? Oh, we forgot to mention that when they did raid the building, they also find this guy that was also in the mansion with Mila Jovovich, who has said he was a cop and lied to them, and he wasn't in the system, and then they just handcuff him and take him with them, because that makes sense.
Yeah, let's handcuff this person and then carry him with us through this entire torture chamber that we're about to experience.
Also, we're going to take him into a confidential area. Why not just handcuff him in the house and leave him there?
Yeah, or call for backup and say, hey, Umbrella Corporation, this mega corporation with all these fingers into every industry. Hey, can you send a couple guys to the mansion? I got a stray. We can just take him, get rid of him. I don't want to carry an immobile person around as we do our operation.
Also, why would you bring somebody into a place that is if you're just gonna kill him, if you're gonna kill him, Like you wouldn't bring especially a cop into a place where you're doing illegal experiments. They even say they're doing illegal experiments down here at one point. Someone does. Like you wouldn't bring a cop down here. Like unless they plan to kill him down there, I don't know, but it doesn't
kill him.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, again, it has to be there.
A key point character. They had to bring him with.
Yeah, I know, but still, it's just I'm thinking about that. Like, wait a second.
Well, I mean, he kind of is. I don't know.
Again, I feel like most of these actors weren't known except for Michelle Rodriguez, and even then, she only had done like 3 movies at this time.
Playing the same character.
Probably, yeah. But I was just so confused.
Yeah. I mean, if not to backseat write this movie, but you could have had him maybe like part of the security of the facility, and when things happen, he like does a solid snake and hides in a locker or something, and or does something, right? Or grabs the only gas mask left, and then you could have found him bumbling around all confused. Then he's got it. Then you have to have this guy around, like, oh boy,
something more than what happened. Yeah.
Again, not to backseat write the movie, but I don't know. I think you're right. I think it could have been handled with a little more tact and depth.
Because I was just so confused when you have half the team go down to the computer room, and they're in the computer room, and then they're getting in. And as soon as I saw the hallway, and because I've seen this movie before, I'm like, oh, things aren't going to end well here.
Mm-hmm.
I think this scene is a great video game movie scene, in my opinion. I really like the hallway scene. I think it's just really good.
You like when they get sliced?
I don't, because it's not that gory. I mean, it's gory enough that it makes me cringe, but it's not like terrible.
Not super bloody.
No.
Okay.
It's just
a
cool.
lot of it's implied, slicing and dicing. Again, now that I know that
I want to imply. I don't want to see it.
There definitely could have been more blood when his fingers got chopped off.
Yeah.
Also, would you go into shock if you just lost your fingers?
That I didn't. I'm
I don't know.
not sure about that. They didn't even show him losing any blood. I'm like, why is he going into shock?
Well, it cauterized. The laser.
Well, that's what I mean. So why is he going into shock?
Because he just lost 4 fingers?
I don't.
But I mean, as a guy
Suck it up, soldier!
As a guy who's worked in factories, I met people who lost fingers, and I wasn't with them, thank God, but I feel like you probably wouldn't go into I mean, it would just be terrible and frightening and horrible, but I feel like if you're a soldier and you are in this mindset and you've been trained, you wouldn't be going into shock over losing your fingers. I think you would be able to regain some kind of losing your leg, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, again, I'm arguing semantics.
Okay.
But I just thought it was just, I mean, because he drops down, the one girl just doesn't even move. She just stands there.
Yeah, she's standing there like, oh, this is normal. This is fine. Oh, wait, what's that laser beam that's slowly approaching me? It's not like it goes fast like a video game. So
it's like she freezes like a deer in a headlight. She doesn't know what to do.
I guess so. Yeah, she kind of like this doe-eyed look like, huh.
But they were trained for that. I mean, not lasers, but I mean, they were trained.
They train you for lasers like that in the Army?
Well, this ain't the Army. This is Umbrella Corps Special Forces is a highly trained mercenary group that they take military people and they put them and they hire them for this job.
Well, in that case, they should probably add homicidal lasers to the curriculum because these guys were not.
Considering they worked for the company that they're down here for, you think they would have had security semantics. Like, this is what could happen. Not, I don't know what's going to happen here.
Team leader almost made it. Like, he almost had it.
Well, there's that one guy who jumps and the laser goes up and just cuts him off anyway.
That was really good. That's like a cheat again in a video game. You're like, come on, game. Really? That's a cheap death.
I mean, the only reason it even worked is because, well, I mean, it almost worked for Cube Guy because he jumps up, clings to the top. And shortly, he clings to the vent, it cuts off his knife, and the last one comes, he's like ready to go, and then all of a sudden it just goes into a whole, a net, and he's like, shit.
And just as Computer Guy stops the homicidal AI, I think this is a really neat touch, and this is actually very gross and fun. Actually, you see his eyes start to pus a little bit.
Part.
It's really good. It's really good.
Because it shifts and then you see it.
I like how the first guy goes in, he unlocks the door, nothing happened. It isn't until they bring the bomb in when the computer locks the doors again and kills them all. Because she was waiting, because she knew she only had one opportunity to do it, because once you start it, they're going to stop it eventually.
Yeah.
So once they bring the bomb in, she gets the most people, she kills as many as she can.
And half the team is gone at this point. That's
I thought that was kind of a little too much. They maybe should kill 1 or 2, not 3 of them, not 3 to 6 people.
I'll be honest, half the main cast is gone. I guess they didn't want to pay them for 3 weeks worth of work. They probably just want to pay them for 3 days. So they figured, all right,
well, it was 3 days of work. Yeah.
And then when the last member of this team that you have down here, the 3 guys that are left, And he doesn't. He's all scared. He goes in. He's carrying the bomb. And the other two guys are just standing like, we ain't going nowhere. Who aren't part of the squad. And then Mila character comes in and helps him because he's so terrified. I don't know. I thought it was sweet when she goes in there. It's like, oh my, aw, she risked her life too. No.
She was probably like, I'll just do it.
Well, she was the only badass character in this movie.
Really?
Rodriguez.
I don't care for Michelle Rodriguez.
I like Michelle. I'm offended right now.
Yeah. I was saving this, but she doesn't do much in this movie. I came here to see Mila Djokovic run around and jump kick people in the face and shoot. She spends the first 45 minutes of this movie just cowering and staring at people blindly and blankly. She doesn't do anything in this movie.
In the next 5 weeks,
I'm sure that's fine, and I'm actually here for that. But this time around, I'm like, man, give her something to do. She doesn't do anything.
No, I mean, because she has no memory, and like they really play her like this hiding, cowering character for so much of this movie, which is also kind of odd too.
She lost her memory. She doesn't know she's badass.
I feel like,
girl.
I mean, she has her born identity moment like an hour and change into it. You know, like, man, I don't know. I guess when your lead character on the front of the movie poster looking badass with the machine gun that she never wields in the entire film, like does not wield that gun. That is not something she carries. It's like you think, oh, cool, this is gonna be fun, you know, and no, most of this movie is just army guys running around spitting cliches and Michelle Rodriguez throwing out one-liners, which are just beautiful every time. Just chef kiss every single time she spits out a one-liner. I loved it.
Blow me.
Oh, that's the first one. That's the first one. Yeah.
Blow me.
That was funny. And this is when you have the Red Queen, which I still think, even though this is old CGI from 2002, this scene is creepy. I don't know what it is, but a holographic girl creeps me out like that.
It's not even, it's just a bunch of red lines.
I know, but it's creepy. I mean,
you can barely see the girl.
Yeah, I know, but it creep. I mean, this is also, if I remember right, this is in the trailer too, this line where, you know, because they're setting up the MP bomb and they're about to set it off, and then right before they set off, you're all going to die down here. It's so creepy.
No, she reminds me of the girls from The Shining. Come play with us.
Yeah. She has some of that kind of vibe to her. Yeah, for sure.
But also, if you were going to design a computer, why would you design this head computer that's going to kill people off your daughter?
I don't know. Because little girls spitting, little girls saying scary things is creepy. It's just
because she's in the second movie, not the Red Queen, but the girl.
I think the accent makes it even better. Like if she didn't have the accent, it wouldn't be as creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mike's like, I don't know.
I just find it. And I like how this is what causes them all their problems, because they shut the power off and then it restarts the power, but because of that, everything unlocks that she had been holding back. Everything that she'd been controlling.
She begged them not to. I implore you.
But also, I don't understand what their motive was. Like, why would you come down here? You restart her. Everybody's dead. You already figured out, and she told you. Like, what was the purpose of restarting her just to restart her at this point?
I thought they had a reason.
I don't remember what the reason was. I'm sure they said it while they were, again, walking through, you know, the video game levels from Dead Space. But I don't know. I don't remember.
I thought they needed to, like, get through a certain door or something.
No.
Or unlock something.
Yeah, to get to her. I don't know why they did it, to be honest. Like, I don't think there was a reason.
You weren't paying attention.
I know, but I don't think they said. I think they're like, oh, we're here to rescue her, here to see what happens. So we're going to restart her, which is what causes all the problems and makes the whole second half of the movie happen because they can't get out.
Maybe their thought process was she caused all of this, so to maybe stop her, I don't know. They're going to reboot her, so they thought she'd gone crazy.
Yeah. Homicidal. Yeah, they do call her homicidal computer.
Yeah, there you go. So I think that was it. She had gone homicidal, and so they were going to reboot her to fix her, maybe. But
also, did anyone not read science fiction? AI is usually programmed to only do things based on certain algorithms. This isn't Terminator.
No. She just needs a Windows 10 patch. So let's just reboot her, install the update, and then she'll be fine. She'll have the updated security protocols, and we're good.
I don't know. And I mean, this is what caused it, because all their problems happen because of this one scene. I mean, that was their whole and also what I do know about the Umbrella Corporation from the games, they wouldn't have sent. I mean, they would have sent these people in, but once all this happened and they would have known it, they would have just blown the place up. Like I was expecting them to have to go down when they went down there to set some auto destruct system, but they never do. In this movie, there is no auto destruct sequence for this base, which is what every single Resident Evil game ends with, you blowing up the place because that's an auto destruct that goes off.
Right.
Not everyone, but anyone with a lab. And this doesn't have that. And I'm like,
what's the thing where they only have an hour? Everything shuts down? Because
the doors seal.
Oh, okay.
But as you find out at the end of this movie, that doesn't matter. They open the doors.
Oh, I see.
That's in the second movie, but spoilers. But it's just, I don't know. I just found that so strange to me. Like, there's another moment coming up that I have words, but we'll get there. That I did that really upset me, and Bill will laugh, but we'll get there shortly. So then you have Michelle sees the first zombie, and this scene to me I thought was kind of odd. Like they see how infected this person is. I mean, they don't know she's a zombie. Okay, like I get that. They don't understand, but they see something's wrong, like really fast. Even especially after she bites her, and she just kind of like. I think they would have shot her a lot faster than they did, I felt.
Well, they thought it was a civilian. So they did shoot her in the leg a couple of times.
Yeah, shoot her in each leg.
Yeah. And it still didn't stop her. And then Michelle Rodriguez like
unloads on her, which seems ridiculous for a trained soldier.
That was good. She's like, fucking bitch bit me. That's it, you're dead.
I agree with that. I think it's there's no way they would have possibly thought that zombie is in this equation. Yeah, they see somebody who's like staggering around. Who knows? Right, it's Umbrella, so who knows what sort of thing she's hopped up on. But, that's when they... And again, this is also a time to show the audience what these zombies can do and the threat that they present. Right? So, boom, in the leg. She just kind of walks it off like she stubbed her toe. Oh, let me put 5 shots into her chest. She falls down. Yay. Nope. Oh, boy. These zombies mean business. And then when you turn around and see 30 of them approaching, he's very good at escalating these stakes and kind of escalating this tension, usually to uninspiring end. But
as I put in my notes, shooting dumbly. Shooting dumbly. This is also another one of my issues is because in the games, Umbrella, when they do send these special forces, they know what they're getting themselves into. Like they know what the viruses are. In this, these people are dumb as hell. Like they weren't told nothing.
They're clueless. They just thought they were going to go to reboot a computer, and who knows what's down there. Hey, we'll just bring our guns just in case.
But would they have? I wouldn't have gone if I knew they were flesh-eating zombies down there.
You know how much they're paying these people?
Fire me.
I mean, I don't really. I mean, Resident Evil. The special forces. They're paid well, and plus they're.
You know this from a video game?
It talks in the games, yeah.
Oh.
And in the games, they also, I think, a lot of them are convicts and stuff. That they get out of jail and stuff.
Oh, so they're like, I got nothing to lose.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure some of the people that you play as in some of the games, like on Operation Raccoon City, I think maybe I'm exaggerating, but I know I feel like some of the people are like mercenaries and. There were people that were prisoners that they find, like murderers and stuff.
A lot of details.
I played a lot of Resident Evil games.
Yes, I know. Which is weird because they scare you.
They do.
She can't play in the dark.
I watch YouTube videos of them mostly. I love the lore. I love the lore of the series in general. Like it's one of my, but I'm terrified of the games. Yeah. And I wrote down explosion. I don't remember exactly what happens, but this is where things get a little weird. Is this when they? Oh yeah, this is when they split up for some reason. You have fake cop guy who's handcuffed who finds the keys and he's trying to unhandcuff himself.
That doesn't go well.
And he drops the keys in a vent, but somehow this vent is so low you can stick your fingers in and still grab the keys from the bottom of the vent.
Even when you're handcuffed, I missed that part.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm like, the keys are gone now. Nope, he blows them right off somehow. I have no idea how it worked, but blows them out.
Very strange. But all this is pretty decent. Again, this is decent. That's how I kind of label all this kind of action and shooting and whatnot. Again, it is at this point I wrote down like, okay, it's just soldiers shooting things, which is fine. But, it didn't really have much stakes. This is a point where I also realized that Paul W.S. Anderson, the auteur, is not confident enough in his action scenes to not put all this, electronic rock music behind it. Because if you didn't know by the shooting and the grunting and the screaming that this was an action scene, got put in the score by Marco Beltrami, who probably did the score, and Marilyn Manson, who did, I guess, the electronic crunchy music for this.
Oh,
and yeah, so I just thought that was neat when I looked at it on Wikipedia here. But yeah,
this is also when she has when Mila Jovovich's character has the memory of the betrayal comes to her, where you can see where she's out in the field and telling somebody like, "Hey, I can get you stuff."
I thought it's when she saw the girl's face. No.
Oh yeah, maybe that was it.
Before?
I can't remember what I didn't write down. I just wrote down my notes. Memory of betrayal. You also do see that woman, the guy's sister, one time in the early part of the movie before everything happens. She's in the office talking to somebody on the phone. The girl that ends up leading to all those problems in a way.
Yeah, yeah. She's in one part of this, but yeah. No, this is all pretty fun. Again, it's just shooting zombies, and it feels video gamey, but in actually a pretty decent way.
Like when the guy opens the door finally, because they can't remember the code, and he's like,
"That's actually code? It's a really funny beat." Actually, it's
I was thinking, if you're a trained soldier, would you just open a door with your back turned to the door in a hostile situation?
That was the techie guy, right?
They're still trained soldiers.
Techie guys are trained soldiers, but that's all they do is techie shit.
You're in a hostile situation with people that don't die when you shoot them. You think he'd be looking at the door, but
Well, he panicked. Okay, jeez.
He's like, I got it, and they grab him and pull him in and eat him. I'm like,
wait, but I thought the computer guy is the techie guy is the guy who could not figure out the combination.
Yep.
So he's the one who leaves, and of course, I think
he lists off the numbers to the one dude, and then he gets whoever, I don't know, nameless dude.
JD. It's on his coat.
Oh.
It's JD. Yeah, they make it very clear to show you this guy who's dying is JD. It makes it very clear to you as the audience, this guy will be back as a bloodthirsty zombie. Like, there's no way this is not happening. You didn't do that shot, arbitrarily. I also noticed that a lot of this movie is people yelling at other people to do things faster, as if that's going to help.
Well, that's
turn off the AI. Turn off the AI. Faster. Come on. What do you think I'm doing here? I'm not playing solitaire. I'm trying to turn off the robot. Stop it. Stop screaming at me.
I mean, that always works in real life. No matter what you're doing, you yell at someone to go faster, they go faster, right?
But these are all devices. I'm being silly. These are all devices to escalate tension and blah, 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 blah. So I'm just being persnickety, like I said.
No, it's okay. This movie deserves it. It just does.
But that's to get you to go faster, go faster.
Right, yeah. It's escalating that tension.
Member.
Yes.
Because I'm one of those people that's like, hurry up.
I'm trying to feel for the
if you're an idiot, you deserve it. So
and I'm trying to feel for the guy who's like, stop screaming at him. He's doing his best. He's doing his very best. He understands the stakes at hand. Right? Yelling at him doesn't help. So 3 different personalities approaching this well-worn movie trope.
And this is when you see the liquor escape, which I get excited for. Except I thought they were going to be hunters, which means nothing to the other 2 people I'm talking to right now. And it was lickers instead, because hunters were the monster that they fight in the first game, which are look like giant amphibian gorillas. We're going to go with. I know it makes absolutely no sense. Think of a giant gorilla, but amphibian, and they croak. They do. They go wall. And that's how you know they're in the room and you get your shotgun ready to shoot them. So yeah, I got. But they went with the liquor, which are from 2, which are much more frightening. They look like someone's been skinned alive with their brain showing in a giant tongue. And this is the part that I didn't get. So starts my complaints, but we'll get there. I got a really big complaint in a little bit. So half the team, except for Fake Cop and Mila, run back to computer court. Why they go back to computer court, which is in the center of this place, which is locked? I don't know, but okay, I'll take it. That didn't bother me. I'm like, all right, they don't know what they're doing, so they're retreating back to talk to computer to find out if she knows how to get them out, except that isn't until Mila tells them to do that, I think. But they go there and they hide. And this is when you also see Mila just wandering around someplace in a dog room. And I'm thinking to myself, one, why are you wandering around a place with half your memory when things are trying to kill you and you don't have a gun?
She's going to flirt her way out of it.
She's gonna, as I put in my notes, Mila takes a stroll.
I mean, I do like this scene. Like, I like when she ends up in the dog room and you see the broken cages because you saw the dogs earlier in the movie when the gas cat, comes out. Like, I like this. Like, I think this is a great scene, but I'm just like, why is she here? Like, what is the plot purpose or the point in the movie that brought her here other than this will be a cool scene to film, won't it? Yeah. Like, I don't understand why she wandered off from the team and ended up here.
She needed more screen time.
Like, there should have been a small scene of her running from zombies, closes the door, and ends up in this room. Something, not just...
Again, this is Paul W.S. Anderson. I think just, again, trying to eke out every little bit of tension out of this movie as he can, because he's actually pretty good at it. again, she's walking slowly through the halls, looking around. This is kind of where the horror is supposed to be. And so you're anticipating like something jumping out or something happening. He's okay with just letting scenes linger, which is actually not a bad choice. But again, it always ends up not being satisfying. Either you get a cheesy jump scare, which you're like, oh, thanks, that was great. Made me drop my popcorn. Or you just get something that's just not satisfying. So, but he is good at this piece of it. This is him trying to make this a horror movie when, as Tiff said, it's not. This is not.
I disagree.
It's not. I mean, I agree with Tiff. It's not. So pick where you're at. And I think that's where you're kind of coming from, Mike, is that kind of dissonance where this was an action movie. Now it's a horror movie. Now it's action again. Now it's horror. Be something. Like, do something well, not do both things averagely.
I find this scene I really like this scene. Like when she starts to remember her skills with the first dog, and I like how she locks the door and avoids the first dog, goes in the room, and all of a sudden there's like 5 or 6 dogs just looking at her.
Very funny beat. That was good. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
I really like that. And then she just guns them all down. Like she's the only person who knows how to shoot in this movie.
What about Michelle?
She don't shoot very well.
Oh, she don't?
It didn't look how well it worked out for her.
Well, and that one lady?
That didn't work out very well either.
No, she got bit again.
The lady comes back, I'm pretty sure, too, in a later scene. Because she didn't shoot the head.
Huh?
She didn't shoot the head.
Well, they didn't know that until the little
They never
person.
They never saw Night of the Living Dead? They never saw, I mean, I feel like in this...
Not in this universe.
Nope. These are the first zombies that ever existed. The scene we're talking about now is when she has what I call that born identity movement, where she does something cool ? Kicks a zombie a few times, which evidently does the same amount of damage as if you were to shoot him in the head. I'm like, wait, you just broke your rules. I don't think that guy wakes up. I don't remember.
Because she throws him into the cabinet.
Did she break his neck though?
It doesn't show they could have done a little scene of his neck just snapping when he hits something, but they didn't do that like they should have.
They do say that shooting him in the head or some sort of head trauma or disconnecting the spinal cord will kill the zombie. So I guess it's implied, but my thought was like, well, I thought these things took 18 bullets to the chest and still came back kicking. But this is her born identity moment where she does her cool kung fu stuff without.
I said a little concussion's gonna take a zombie out.
That's right. A little bump on the head. Oh, it's funny again. If this was a funny movie, the guy would walk up, grab an ice pack from the medical session, like, and then kind of just walk away slowly. Actually, I wouldn't. That I don't know. As I talked through it, that didn't sound good at all. Anyway, but this is fine. I want more. And when she's shooting the dogs, which are really just kind of like they're real. I think they're just like real dogs wrapped in like ripped up rain ponchos or something. It's all slick, but I really don't think there's much to their costuming at all. If they're real, I think they are. There's
they look
5.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they scared the hell out of me as a kid. Young Mike was very terrified of those dogs.
Yeah, the 5 little doggos. This is where we get like our CGI bullets, which of course were from The Matrix, because you can't have a movie in the early 2000s without a CGI bullet. Those bullets they're better than some of the era like that CGI, but boy, is that dated. 2 things date this movie: the rock music with every action scene, and the CGI bullets and the slow motion. And
it's so cool when she jumps off the wall, which doesn't work that way, to kick the dog in the face.
But I like it. That was one of my favorite scenes.
That's fine. It was cool. I mean, again, her discovering her abilities and now actually doing something after an hour of not. We're like 45 minutes to an hour into this movie, and it's the first time she's done anything useful.
Mm-hmm. And this is another one of my complaints in this movie, again, because it's been established well in this podcast. I have an issue when people just end up in places they shouldn't be. Like it cuts to her brother who just happens to wander to the office where his sister was. And like my question is, where are all the other zombies that they just got done dealing with? Were they all just in the one room and nobody like? Because anything I know about zombies, there's gonna be some that are just wandering around.
Yeah. There's your zombie.
But there should have been a whole lot more. Like he shouldn't have gotten to the office. Like I don't believe the office. Like, oh, the office is right next to where they do those experiments. It's right across on the other side of this door. And on the other side of that door is where we keep the dogs, right next to our office. Like that's not how office buildings are designed usually. Yeah, no, that whole dead sister thing, like it's good because it gives you more plot of what the story is, and this is when you kind of start connecting all the pieces. And Mila comes over and kills the dead sister, and like saves him, and then they had their little moment together where they're like, "Oh, you're the one, that do her and stuff."
But she's the least zombie looking of anybody.
Yeah.
At first, he thought she was normal.
Except if you already seen dead people walking around, and all of a sudden you see somebody just walking toward you, think you'd be a little more apprehensive.
Yeah.
It's you.
My sister.
I don't know. People are stupid. That's all I got.
I think that's just plot device moving forward. Plus, she couldn't look like a crazed zombie at first because you have to tie her to the picture that he was looking at, which they don't really show very well. But
did you notice what she doesn't have a gun or a weapon? She kills him with a glass cube.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
A paperweight, I guess that was on someone's table.
A desk toy.
I thought that was kind of like,
yeah, I was like, what did she just, what?
I would have kept the gun. Even if I didn't have ammo, I still would have kept the gun because you might find ammo.
That's true.
Or a gun you can still hit something with.
There must have been some sort of security in this place that had some sort of firearm, yeah?
Yeah.
Right?
You would think so.
And at this point, we learn about Cop and his, I don't remember his name, I just call him Cop. We learn about Cop.
They never say his name to the end of the movie.
Golly, how are you supposed to follow characters if you don't know their names? Really? I mean, I guess I did, but
attached to them when you don't know.
You don't need to in this movie. They all die.
That's fair. Well, yeah, but anyway, you learn about his backstory a little bit, that he's really some sort of freedom fighter against corporations, right? Like some sort of activist type.
He talks about his organization, which is kind of from the games later on, about a group that's going against Umbrella, but that doesn't happen until after Resident Evil 2 happens and the whole explosion, and they cover up and blow up an entire city. But yes, that's what it's a reference to, I think. It's called picking and choosing stuff from the games, throwing it in a blender and seeing where it comes out.
And I never mind that too much when it comes to video game movies and such, or any movie really that's an adaptation, because adaptations are really hard because you have to satisfy so many different things. You have to make a sensible movie. You got to turn how many hours to take to play a Resident Evil game? 10, let's assume. A 10-hour game into a 2-hour movie. You have to provide all these little Easter eggs and context. You have to build your own story that somehow ties to that story because you can't just remake the game. Who wants to watch that? So adaptation is an extreme.
I do.
Adaptation's a really a very hard thing to do. So I never mind when they kind of mix and match and blender it up because you just have to. There's no choice in it.
Now, here's the part of the movie where I got actually irritated with the movie and complained. So you see the guys in the computer core and they're banging on the door and they're worried. They're going to get in here at some point. And all of a sudden, somehow, Mila and the fake cop make it all the way from where they were, get past all these zombies that were crowding by this door, and get inside the computer core. And they have no weapons.
She's just kicking butt.
That bothered me. It was a Hulk moment for me. Like, how did they get there? What? How?
It's because, well...
He got the joke. So did some listeners.
It is a Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like... That just bothered me. Like, it should have been like she went through a vent or something. She found some secret and, popped out. Oh, I found a way. Not just ran through the hallway full of to get the computer core. I don't know. It bothered me.
Mike, they ran out of money. That's what happened. They didn't have time to shoot. They only had Mila for like 2-3 weeks. So it was on the schedule and they cut it. That's exactly, and I wrote that down too. I put it, here's the video game map screen providing positional context because we didn't bother filming transitions. That's what that was. So that's why they had that video game map screen. So now they're back in the basement. Here we are. But again, that's only done because they didn't bother to fill that transition or film that progress. Put them in a cool little action scene, right? Where like they're running through the hallways, like you said, they have no ammo, they're dodging, they're just using their environment to get out of these situations. Been cool. Give me a minute.
Or even like a small little scene where she pops through a vent. Some like so she finds something and gets past, not goes through like the door they were just talking about how that's you hear banging on.
Yeah, it's a very bad cut and it's very sloppy. That's kind of what I would use for that.
But you're probably right. They're running out of money. They're like, well, we got to just do this. Okay. I mean, at this time, video game movies were mostly bad, so it wasn't a lot of money to be made. Usually,
are they good now? I don't know.
No, they're not good now. But they weren't. This at least was profitable. Like they weren't even profitable. Like Double Dragon did terrible. Like a lot of those movies are big bombs.
Dragon was a bad movie.
Yes, which we did an episode on a long time ago. So is Street Fighter, the movie, which we did an episode on that too. And then this is when Mila then goes on. They don't want to turn the Red Queen back on, which I think is weird. Like, what does it matter at this point? Like, you guys are stuck inside a freaking base full of zombies and other monsters. Like, are you worried about a computer?
They're afraid she's going to gas them or something.
I'd rather be gassed and eaten alive.
Yeah, me too.
Fair.
I mean, at this point, your chances of actually getting out of this place, where the only door that you know of is, has a bunch of zombies banging on it, like, and you're running out of ammo. I think they say at one point too, like they're not in a good shape. Like, I think the gas might not be that bad.
Michelle Rodriguez is pretty much dead.
Yeah, she's already been bit multiple times. I think she's been bit multiple times at this point.
She gets bit like 3 or 4 times, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then we get your more little you're not montage, but you get where they turn the Red Queen on, and she's got to give us more, explaining about the virus. I like this though. I like when she just, explains the virus, tells them what happened and why she did what she did, which she should have told them in the first damn place. But
yeah, she should have.
I like this. Yeah. I think this is a good little scene to get you more into the movie and explain your mysteries that you've been waiting on.
What'd you think about it, Tish?
Wait, what scene are we talking about?
The Red Queen talking.
I did like that. She, like he said, she's explaining herself, but then she goes, "Oh, one of your team members are infected. Kill her, or you aren't able to leave."
That's later.
But this later, is
She just tells him that one of yours is infected, and I won't let anyone leave. That I won't let it get out. But she knows, like, you got plenty of room to kill you, and I'll just let you do what you want.
She gives them the video game tooltip to shoot them in the head. Oh, okay. All right.
I feel like as a I'm not a trained soldier, so maybe I can't answer this correctly, but I feel like if you were shooting something you'd go for the head anyway. Maybe that's the gamer in me that would want to go for the head.
Well, I think their thought processes are civilian.
But when your civilian takes a bullet to the leg and keeps coming at you...
I don't know, so I'm just saying, okay? They're not like... Okay, I'm not going to say what.
You're not going to defend this movie anymore
no,
for that part?
I was going to say something else, but probably won't be peace.
Okay. And this is when you then drop into the sewer hatch, which I thought was kind of interesting. Like, okay, there's tunnels that they didn't know about. All right. These guys were not trained at all for this.
Yeah, they really didn't exhaust all their options because it really just was a hatch underneath the Red Queen room like they could just dropped into. Yeah. So when they were walking around, go, how do we get out? We're never going to get out. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, who knows? It's a panic situation. You may be not thinking clearly. I'm not going to completely kill them, but I don't know. Stomp around. It's not that big of a space. But anyway,
this is a good. Again, I'm going to say horror moment to me where they're running around in the tunnels and the zombies are coming. They're pushing on the fence. I like all this stuff. And they got to climb up on the pipes. I think this is all pretty cool.
Did we get to the part where she remembers there's an antivirus?
No, that's later.
Oh, whoops, sorry.
Yeah.
You're good.
It's later.
Spoiling.
Spoilers!
Yes. As we say often, please don't listen to this and then watch the movie.
This movie,
moment by moment.
This movie's almost 20 years old.
Wow, is it really 20? I'm old.
Almost.
Old,
2002.
old.
I hate both of you.
He's older than you, so don't feel bad.
Oh, okay. That makes me feel a little better.
So I get a kick when they're walking on the pipes. I already knew what was coming, but I think it's cool. They're walking on these pipes, and you have all these zombies below them reaching up, trying to grab them. Like, can you imagine how frightening that would be? Because these pipes are not made to hold 5 humans. Mm-hmm. Like, that would terrify me. They're crawling on them and everything.
I just don't like heights.
I don't like heights. I don't like the idea of falling and then getting eaten alive. That's not. I would have checked out a lot. My gun would have had one bullet in it at all times. Oh, they got me. Okay, time to go. Bye. See ya. I'll see you guys on the other side. I'm good.
Who does like that? Who goes, what am I going to do this morning? I wish I could get up on a pipe with a bunch of strangers and then fall to my death to the waiting maws of a bunch of zombies. I would love to do that. Say that again, Tiff. Couldn't hear you.
Jade, what is his name?
JD.
Does he come back in the scene?
No, he comes back at some point.
No, he does.
Is that this scene?
Yeah, that's when they see JD. Yeah.
Michelle freezes up because she sees him.
Yeah.
And then both Computer Guy and Michelle Rodriguez get hit a bit again. I would say this is about as close to a horror movie as this movie gets. Confined space, overwhelming forces, just no way out, trapped. Yeah, it's just, this is as close to a horror movie as this gets for me. But
in Resident Evil, you don't turn that fast.
She's been bit like 5 times.
You still don't turn that fast. It takes a while to get to you.
He kept telling me that, but it still bothered me that she didn't turn.
Also, it's only like an hour. They're only down there, like, this whole event from the time that they leave the computer room. I think they have, there's a mark about they have 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she starts getting bit, which got bit a little before that, but they don't have a whole lot of time that they're down there before it takes effect. But I'm assuming all the bites don't help it any. I'm assuming getting reinfected and, getting injury and getting infection in general of getting bit by something that's dead probably not helping your immune system very much. So this is where I wrote on my notes where I guess when the pipes fall and when the guy falls down, the tech guy, and gets bitten again or something. I do like this scene where he climbs back up the pipes and they're on the like, we'll get you, like, go, leave me. And then he has the gun with the one bullet. He puts the gun in his mouth and he changes his mind and shoots a zombie instead.
But you think he shot himself because they pan away.
Yeah.
But then they go right back to him immediately afterwards, which I thought they shouldn't have. They should have just left him. Then you find out, surprise, he didn't die. But it shows him.
See everybody's shocked expression because they think they know what that means.
And he throws the gun. You got to work for your meal, and then crawls away.
Such a dumb line. I do want to skip back a teeny bit if I can. There's that scene, of course, where everything is escalating, and Michelle Rodriguez gets bit again, and then you do this very bad cut to Michelle Rodriguez and Mila just sitting there on a pipe while she's squeezing blood. And at first, I wrote in my notes, scene change, no context. What happened? And then, of course, it pans down, and they're on top of the pipe with all the evil monsters below them, but. At first, I was like, "Oh man, another ham-handed cut." Good God! But
it's like, why is she dripping the blood? Like, do they have time? Like, they already established there's a time limit. We have time to sit here and drip blood on zombies.
And it's funny too, because there's a lot of this movie is wasted with them just talking, like to the Red Queen and all that. Like, no one has the. Someone should have the watch going. Could you hurry it up, Red Queen? Just give us what we. Yeah, the ticking timer. And they don't utilize that enough. I think they really should have leaned into the ticking timer because that would have added some urgency to the movie. Where like all of a sudden, oh, that's right, they only have 20 minutes. Oh, that's right, they have 10 minutes.
They should have had like a countdown. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, they should
have.
Yeah, in her creepy voice, but she doesn't want them to get out, so it makes sense. But yeah, it would have been
4 minutes.
It would have been cool.
It would have been better than the watch.
And that is a scene of. And this is why Mila Jovovich says very little in this film. She has very few lines. That is a scene of extraordinarily bad acting. Like, it is so not good. So to the point where I had to make a note. Like, ooh, boy. That's in a movie of bad performances, that one took the cake.
Well, did Fifth Element already come out at this time?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did.
I said, it's Lilu. He had no idea.
Oh, yep, you're right.
1997.
About. Okay, so she had already done... Because she does good in that movie, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to reserve my judgment on The Fifth Element. I don't like that movie.
Yeah.
Okay,
Most people do.
Once or twice and have no like memory of it, so I can't say much.
How can you not like Ruby Rod or whatever his name was?
Chris Tucker?
Yeah.
I don't like Chris Tucker.
Just obnoxious. Like, he just rubs me the wrong way in that movie, and there's lots of other things I'm not a fan of, but
And then this is when you see the brief scene of the liquor in the tunnels, just because, you know, we got to show the big bad monster that's running around. There's only one of them, even though there were like 30 freaking cages. Only one got out. Okay, sure. Okay.
Well, they probably all got out. They just only had enough money for one. Okay.
Listen, CG even at that era was very expensive. So you had
too.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And then as I wrote in my notes, a lot of people are in the office again because they get to the tunnels, like climb up, and they're in the offices. Which the offices don't have a lot of zombies actually. And this part I found really odd. So she's walking in the offices, they're trying to get out, they're not that far from the exit, and she starts hallucinating, seeing people that are alive. And this is when she remembers about the antivirus and how it's in this lab nearby. And I'm thinking to myself, it was just really weird to me. I mean, it looks cool on film, but I'm just like,
it's a memory. She's like inside her own memory. Is what I got to take from it. And she was remembering when it was like there were people there, and so she took herself to where it was and remembered it. That's how I got it.
Okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'll take it too. I just took it as movie being movie and having to take us to the next level of this. But yeah, I'll accept that. Yeah.
And this is when she tells the brother that she was the contact. I think he gets mad at her too, like, it's your fault or something of that nature. And I do like when they find out the antivirus is missing. They find the case, and this is, for some reason, fake husband hasn't remembered anything until this one moment. Everything comes back to him.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of funny. Like, really, nothing came back to him at all. Like, she's having memories coming back off and on. She gets her born identity skills back, but he remembers nothing until he sees the case. Mm-hmm. And then he realizes he stole the virus, and he has the whole. I like the flashback scene.
Everything.
I really like this flashback scene. I like where you see him running. He knocks in the guy with the coffee.
Yeah.
He runs.
Yeah.
He gets right out the door right before it seals. I thought that was really cool. I mean, it's a cool, like, wrap the movie around, even though I don't understand why he's like gonna kill her, even though they don't, like, even just because he remembers, they don't know. So why would you kill the other team and like let it go, like wait and then betray them, not betray them right away?
It's divisive. Sorry, Tiff, you were gonna say something.
No, I just said it's a movie.
Yeah, it's divisive, and I mean, I could see how seeing a very important object would trigger somebody back to some memories, but I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. It's a movie, and that was the opportune time for him to regain his faculties and his memories. And
I do like how they stall him, and then you see the woman behind him get up in the water.
It's pretty good.
I wanted him to die, not just get bit, but I still liked it. I thought it was just so creepy how she just comes up behind him and grabs him. It was cool. That creeps me out, I guess. This movie creeps me out, okay? Like, I was creeped after this movie. Like, I was like, ugh.
That is why you didn't sleep last night.
You could have something to do with it, I'm sure. I still think this is probably the creepiest of the whole set that I've seen. It's this movie.
I don't remember the rest.
You only saw 2 of them before you stopped.
Oh, okay. That could be why.
You told me we were done, so we stopped watching.
Okay.
But, and this is when Spencer, which you finally find out the fake husband name is Spencer. This movie's already been going on for well over an hour. He's been in this movie, and they just now tell you his name because she remembers his name. And I just find that weird. Like, as you said throughout this movie, like, you usually give characters their name. Somehow it comes up. In this movie, they don't give you people's names. Like, no one has names. I don't get that.
I don't know. It's a very strange choice. You know, it's, again, you can connect with a character who doesn't have a name, but in this kind of thing where you have a cast, like a crew that you need to kind of like rally around, it's really helpful to know people's names. And really, if you're trying to dissect the movie beat by beat and write down notes, that would have been lovely for me. I don't know.
Yeah, they all got fake names as I put this through. Like, I just call them by the actors and actresses' names.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
Because, like, and fake husband, as I called him until this. And this is when you see him run to the train to get the antivirus and he just died. Like, I did like this where he's going to get the virus and he's doing it and all of a sudden the liquor just comes in and eats him.
But isn't the train just, like, feet away, like, right there?
They're not that far from it, no. He's sitting on the train. He's sitting on the train when he dies.
I know, but isn't that convenient that the train's, like, right there? Like, I didn't like that. What do you mean?
They weren't that far. They're almost done.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'll say what Bill said. The movie's running out of budget. They didn't have time to show him run into the train.
Well, they certainly have time to show us a CG monster more than 3 seconds. That was a terrible, terrible use of... the CG doesn't look good. They keep cutting back and forth between practical effect and digital effect, which is jarring and doesn't work. Just doesn't work. Like, they show close-ups of I think that's actually that's probably when it's mutating, the creature's mutating. Yes. They jump back and forth between CG and practical, and it's terrible. It doesn't work at all. Like, the coloring is wrong, the lighting is wrong. It's just, you can tell that the physical part was done like on a black box on like someone's desk with a camera zoomed in with 2 people below it, squeezing bladders to make it go bloop bloop bloop. Like, it just doesn't work again. But this is bad because is it the liquor now? Is this the liquor?
Yes.
The liquor comes to take care of our big bad, and you barely see anything. It cuts to inside the water room where they're looking up at the screen.
The computer.
The computer screen. Yeah, looking up at the computer screen. I think it cuts back again where it runs away because they know they can't show this thing for more than a second at a time because A, the audience is going to realize how bad it looks, and B, we don't have enough money to animate this thing because, again, CG is very expensive. So let's just put him on this like low res screen, like black and white, like shaky screen, and have that final.
It's
I know it's very bad, and I almost like to think that they probably shot that with the intention to have that be like on the screen for the viewer, like up close. Maybe they tested it and everyone laughed and chuckled. They probably went, "Ooh, we should probably just hide this on like a little screen, the Red Queen screen, and make it happen that way." It's just clumsy.
I also don't understand during the scene, like when the Red Queen's like, is going to let them escape, but they have to kill the person that's infected and they won't do it. Like, just kill Michelle at this point. Like, she's been bit like 5-6 times. I know you have the antivirus, not that far, but really, you think someone has been bit this many times and it's been almost 2 hours that they've been infected? Like, they're not going to be okay. I don't know. I would have just killed her.
You can see it in her eyes. Like, I kept watching her eyes as they glass over and get gray.
Yeah, because she's dying. I mean, hell, they're carrying her to get to this place. The two guys are carrying her. Now there's only one guy to carry her because one guy turned evil. So it's just, I don't know. But I did like that. All of a sudden, at the same moment she breaks the screen, like the doors unlock. I'm like, that's how it works. And then you find out that the guy who didn't commit suicide, which I think it would have been better if you wouldn't have seen the scene where he throws the gun, where he blew her up. Oh, she wouldn't unlock the door. So I did like that. I like how then the whole surviving team makes it to the train.
It's a good reveal. Yeah, I like that whole sequence. Again, it's a nice little fake out when she breaks the screen. I wrote down, and that turns everything off. Like, it actually did fool me. And then, of course, our tech guy comes in with his little remote, and
I defy the bitch.
he EMP'd the robot, or the computer. So yeah, it's good. I don't love the way the Red Queen just goes full psychotic, like kill her. I'm like, okay, listen, you're an AI, I get it, but you're not like. You're an AI. You're not supposed to have emotions behind this.
Do it now.
Do it now. It's a good sequence, though. I like it.
It's just strange, but yeah, it works for putting the more tension in this movie. And then I do like the little Spencer zombie scene where she comes down there and finds her fake husband as a zombie and just shoots him.
Well, she doesn't shoot him. She takes an axe and cleaves his head.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's what it was.
We think because we don't see it. Because NC-17, can't do that, of course. Can't do that. Make it an R-rated movie. What a letdown. Like, that's in this kind of movie, I think implied violence is fine. And actually could be really effective and good. Because you don't need to see every single, piece of bone tissue and brain splat.
No.
But in this sort of movie where you've established you're not afraid to go for the gross, you're not afraid to go for the horror aspects of violence, give us that nice little, at least a decapitation, something. Because the positioning of her axe implies that she cleaves his head in half.
Yes, it does.
And I don't know. That would have been neat to see. I'm sorry.
I didn't need to see it, but
maybe I'm a crazy person. I don't know.
I wanted to see it. I could have done without the liquor and seen
his head get chopped off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're both have issues.
See, it would have been cool if, since he was, kind of by the camera, if it, flew in the camera.
They don't have the budget for that.
It's cathartic to see your villain. And this movie basically spends its entire running time without a villain, really. Yeah. Your villain is Umbrella, making these monsters happen. So now you have a point of reference to the bad guy who instigated all this madness. And it's always cathartic to see that person get their comeuppance, to see their bitter end, to see them, go down in flames. And I think not doing that is just reduces the impact of that moment. Although you do get this really, really, this is cool moment where she drops her wedding ring.
Yeah.
The wedding ring
that says property of Umbrella Corporation on it.
Nothing like to show it's a fake wedding, we want to make sure if someone takes off the ring and look at it all, they'll know. Come on now, people. Did you have to put that on there? But it was amusing. And then you have the train leaving, which I liked all this when the train's leaving and they get the antivirus and they're like, oh, we made it, we're alive. And she almost shoots Michelle. I think that's a good little scene where she's about to shoot her because she thinks she turned and she's like, I'm still alive, bitch, or something like that.
Yeah.
They should have just shot her, but it's a good little scene. And so I'm a little bothered by the next scene where the liquor attacks, because in this, the liquor mutates after it kills the first person, which is kind of from the games, but the creature that they're also fighting is kind of like the G-Virus monster from Resident Evil 2, this is not it at all, because the G-Virus isn't in this movie. I know I'm getting deep in the weeds, but
let it go.
No. And it's still a cool scene. I like the fact when the liquor comes, rips the train open, pulls out the techie driver guy that's been alive, has survived all this time just to get eaten and thrown on the train tracks and dies at the very end. I felt
so bad. I really did feel bad for the guy. He almost made it. He's driving the train. Now, who's driving the train? I guess no one is. I guess it's just...
Also, you didn't need a driver because the train's automatic. This train only goes to one place and one place back. It's an automatic thing. That's how it works.
Clearly, because not to skip ahead, but clearly because at the end of this, it just coasts slowly and gently into the station. I'm like, yeah, who's doing that?
You need some going, go faster.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's automatic. I'm thinking to myself, it's automatic, guys. I played the games. I know what this is based on. There's no Yeah.
I'm gonna go off the rails. Where off the rails are you gonna go?
Well, I mean, the way I took that is
It's
he'd
just
fall
like
off.
a little tunnel.
But if he fell off the rails and you disconnected, you would just stop, and then you would never make the timer that's ticking.
Well, here's the thing too: is and you got a very good point, Tiff. Is that they're yelling, "Go faster, go faster!" And he's saying, "I can't." That implies that he is controlling the speed of that train.
Yeah.
He's controlling it because he's like, I can't. I'll go off the rails, which that's not how trains work. But
maybe he hit autopilot when he saw the monster rip open the thing. Oh, I better hit the autopilot button now, before I die.
Right before I die.
Which implies then somebody had to stop that train slowly and gently into the station. Anyway, again, but here's the problem, and I shouldn't be thinking about these things throughout the movie, but I guess I don't know. I'm a sensible human being who's lived life. I know trains don't work that way. So anyway. It was a bummer. I really was bummed that the computer guy, after all he's been through, gets ripped out of the
computer guy.
I did too. I
was rooting for him.
Me too. And I was bummed when he got thrown off the train.
It was just kind of lame. He got thrown off the train. He didn't even deserve to be eaten by a zombie.
Well, I'm gladder. I almost said gladder. I'm happy.
You didn't say gladder.
I know. I'm happy he went out that way. I didn't want him to like turn into a zombie and have to shamble around and eat rats. He's dead. It's over. And pour one out for our friend the computer guy.
We get our big action scene where they're fighting the liquor, which I do enjoy. This just shoots him in the brain, but it doesn't kill him. And then she gets grabbed by the tongue,
pushes him off.
Which to me, I'm just like,
I didn't like that scene.
What, with the tongue?
Where she pushes him on the bottom of the train.
Oh, he's just burning alive down there, and then she
just like let him go.
And she stabs the tongue with a pipe, and she's like, "Open the door! Open the door!" And then Michelle turns into a zombie finally after all this time. And the way he opens the door, he shoots her in the head, and her body hits the switch and opens the door. And I'm like, "This is dumb, but I like it."
Yeah, it's dumb, but I like it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, this is all pretty cool. I like this fight. Again, more bad CG, but now I'm used to it, so it's just okay. That's fine.
And this is where you see the train arrives, and they barely make it they make it up the stairs. And the only people that are still alive are her and the fake cop, and the door is closing. And they just made it barely in time. They're like, they made it, they survived. And in the room that they go into, again, that's not where the lab is in Resident Evil, but that's neither here nor there in the mansion.
Drop it.
And they go, and the room, like, that room is from the game. That is the dining room from the game. And I'm like, that is cool. And they go in a little hallway, and she's giving him the antivirus, or about to give it to him. And I like how they're like, they made it. I already knew where this movie was going, but I'm like, and all of a sudden, they go through all this shit. They're the only two survivors. And also, the fake cop, whose name is Matt, got slashed at one point, so he's infected now, too. And all of a sudden, people in lab coats rush in and grab them.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, I had that big moment of like, what is going on here? And then, of course, I realized Umbrella, so now they're going to do experiments and such. They mentioned that cop is going to be a part of the Nemesis program.
Yes, which is a reference. Well, in the third game, it's called Resident Evil Nemesis, so it's a reference to that, which is in the second movie, which I thought was kind of like, I'm like, yeah, this is how you get a sequel. This is all a setup to a sequel. Everything is happening right here. Like, I don't know if it was already greenlit, or they're like, if we get greenlit, we're gonna put all this in and see what happens.
Yeah, probably.
I like that though. I like to put him in the Nemesis program, which is not how the Nemesis program works, but that's neither here nor there. And you see Mila trying to kick ass, but they take her down really easy. Considering everything she can do, they take her down real fast like a bunch of guys.
I know. These aren't super soldiers. These are dorks in lab coats. So I'm surprised she didn't just like start spin kicking. Because again, she doesn't do much in this movie. She hasn't really done a ton, except for the last scene where she's fighting the liquor. But even then, it's just more, I don't know, there's not too much going on with her. But it doesn't matter. They're going to send our cop to the Nemesis program. They're going to send a team to the Hive because they want to reopen it. Okay, sure. Like you said, that's kind of antithesis to the entire Resident Evil series. Like,
yeah, but also,
the lab.
Like, you think they would have known what happened or been able to figure out like something. But I guess since there's nobody from the team alive, and these two people aren't really part of the team, even though one works for Umbrella, but still.
And then they send her to Raccoon City. The entire audience who knows the movie or knows the games goes, "Yay, Raccoon City!" And we get to our final moment.
I was so excited when I saw this. I love the ending of this movie. Like, okay, first I was creeped out as hell when she wakes up in the hospital bed. It was another scene I feel like was probably not that far from NC-17. And like she starts pulling the needles out of her body and out of her head. And I'm just, even yesterday, I'm like,
gross.
Yes.
That is hard to watch. I had a cringe moment with that. It's like, oh god, don't like that.
And then somehow and then there's a part where she starts banging on the glass and there's nobody there. And all of a sudden you just see a person just walk by and ignore her. And I remember I smiled when I saw that because I knew exactly what that meant. That the place has already been overrun.
I figure what was, it's already overrun. Oh, was that supposed to be a zombie?
She's been out at this point. I don't remember if they say exactly, but she's been out for a little bit. Like it's been days since this has happened. And you can see and so when I saw that, I knew that the zombies had already overtaken the city.
See, I saw that and I wasn't sure. I thought that was like a G-Man moment or something where, it's kind of like went by real fast as a clue to people who know the game of some figure.
I think it's supposed to be a zombie. That's how I always took it, that it's a zombie walking by. Because a person that worked there would have noticed her, but a zombie wouldn't have cared.
That's fair. Yeah.
So that's how I took it. And then the whole part where she walks out into the city. Oh, no, first we got to say, how the hell does she unlock a door with a needle?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Let's remember that when we're locked in a key locked room.
First, you got to pull the needle out of your head, though.
Yeah,
so you got to have a bloody needle, apparently.
Oh, a blood? Is that what? Is that what? Because it's got blood on it?
She takes it, she shoves it in there somehow, which when I've seen card readers, they usually don't have a spot to shove a needle in. I mean, they usually just have a cement wall or something there. So, hey, I don't think that's how it works. So, okay.
It's a leftover prop from Blade, the blood needle.
And then so I love when she walks out of the hospital city. The city's in ruin. She's just wearing her gown. You see a newspaper clipping says
doctor's coat.
Oh, you're supposed to doctor's coat on. And you see the thing is a newspaper clipping, passes by the camera, says the dead walk the earth. Oh man. And then she grabs a shotgun out and then it pans away and you don't see anybody. You just see blood splattered on windows of the city, of the buildings. And I'm just like,
cars overturned.
Oh, I couldn't wait. When I saw this, because I saw this probably in 2003, I would assume, on VHS, and I got excited.
He's too scared to see it in the theater.
I was terrified. I remember I was supposed to get tickets to this. I had a friend that wanted to go with me, and I was gonna buy tickets, and I'm like, nope. Couldn't do it.
Why did I marry you? I forgot.
I don't know either, but she loves horror movies, by the way.
I need a divorce.
I do not. So that to me, I got so excited to see that because this is long before I knew they were gonna do a sequel or where this 6 movies is what this ends up becoming.
Yeah, it's effective. It's a very effective ending. It would be remiss if we forgot to mention to her ridiculous covering when she wakes up. Like, what is that? Like, again, Paul W.S. Anderson. I almost said Paul Thomas Anderson. That's a good director. This is not a good director. Paul W.S. Anderson. Just again being a little horny for Miss Djokovic.
Yeah. They literally laid 2 sheets of paper on one on the front, one on the back.
Yeah, and connected it with little chains or I couldn't make sense of that.
It reminded me when you're at the dentist. They
yeah, it's an oversized dentist chair vest. Yeah, or undersized, I should say. I think
she just needed to snip it a little bit, and she'd be in her Lulu costume.
Indeed. Yeah, that's how this ends. I think it's a pretty effective ending. It's cool. Sets up a lot. Yeah, makes you excited for the adventures ahead.
The next movie's good too.
Okay.
The 3rd movie's not, but the first 2 are really good. 4th, I don't remember. 5th is good, and I never seen the 6th.
You're saying the words really good. I think. I don't know if I agree. Well,
that is his opinion.
Hey, he's allowed. He's allowed.
Don't look too much into that, though.
Oh, he knows. He's recording a podcast with me. He knows.
He knows.
I have wrong opinions too. It's fine.
Do I?
That's not about wraps this up. I think we should go to shelf stacker box, and I'll go first. As much as this movie creeps me out, I still really enjoy it. I still think it's a good film. It's a good horror movie. As much as I know I'm wrong that it's not a horror film, I will always say it is. And I enjoy it. And it's a movie that I won't watch again anytime soon because it creeps me out every time I see it, especially now that I live in a house. It creeps me the hell out. But I throw it on the shelf, and I will always say this is a great video game movie. I mean, again, that's not very high praise, but when it comes to the few video game movies that there are, this is one of the good ones. It's going on the shelf. How about you, Bill?
As video game movies go, this is a video game movie. So that's really the rung it hits. I enjoyed my time with it for what it was. I was really going in for more Djokovic action. I wasn't there really for soldiers shooting zombies and kind of those old tropes. Michelle Rodriguez really elevates this. She's phenomenal. She's so fun and so good and over the top. It's great. The CG is terrible, but you kind of expect that for the era. I mean, really, no one was doing it great. Unless you're Jurassic Park. Everything averages out, and I think this is a decent movie that I might see one other time if I had just, I don't know why I'd see another time. So this could definitely go in the stack, and this is a very hesitant stack because I think I would never take it off the stack to see, but I think this is worth staying in the collection. Yeah, I think I talked myself into liking this movie more than I did an hour and a half ago. So, yeah, I'll stack it.
All right, what about you, Tiffany?
I will probably put it on the stack too, because I probably won't watch it often. But however, if my husband wants to watch a horror movie, that is what I would probably watch with him. It was okay. Like you said, it's a video game movie. Probably one of the better video game movies, but Michelle Rodriguez was my favorite. And that's about all I have to say.
Okay. Yeah, that fits this movie. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it. But hey, because of this movie, we got more Resident Evil films, which I'm excited to because I've been wanting to cover the rest of this series for a very long time. So we'll see. It might be a while, but I definitely want to do more. And if you enjoyed this Resident Evil film, we have a lot more. We did Resident Evil 4, episode 129, Resident Evil 2, 2019, which that's the game that terrified the hell out of me. So if you want to hear about me being scared, episode 94. Resident Evil Outbreak, episode 73. Resident Evil Dead Aim, episode 70. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, episode 63. Resident Evil G-Generation, film number 4. That's the first animated movie. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, episode 37. Resident Evil 2002, the remake of the first game, episode 33. And then the first one we ever did, Resident Evil 2, the original one, episode 9. God, that's a lot of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
And almost all of that is before Mike joined.
Is this the series you think you've done the most?
Probably.
This and Mega Man.
Oh, yeah, Mega Man.
Me and Mike have done so much Mega Man because he loves Mega Man, so we just started cranking them out after he joined.
They're fun. They're fun shows.
And Bill, where can people find you at?
Oh, yeah. I do a podcast entitled A Gamer Looks at 40. It's a retrospective of the history of games as told through the recollections of everyday people. It's kind of the This American Life of video games, or I hope to aspire to that. It's just stories and recollections of games, trying to get to the heart and soul of the genre as opposed to, the nuts and bolts of it. So that is the hope. That is the intention. You can check me out on Twitter at A Gamer Looks at 40. And yeah, please listen to the show. It'd be lovely if you did.
And it's much more edited than this show is.
It's nothing but editing. It's just nothing but.
Like, I'll see every so often you'll take me in. I'm like, wow, we only did one recording session. Yet I'm in all these different episodes.
Yep. I think you're in like 5.
I'm like, that's impressive because like I don't do any. I even say I'm like this. That's more of a because I plug it every episode. I'm like, well, this is a much more edited of show, much more better produced than what mine is.
I won't say better produced. It's got production. It's just I'm insane. I can't just do something simply. I can't do it. So yeah, cool. I appreciate the kind words.
Yes, it is. God, I just realized Paul W. Anderson did Event Horizon.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is a good movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
This is not a great movie, but Event Horizon is one fucking creepy ass movie. Woo. With Sam Neill. I like that guy a lot. I'm a big fan of that actor. But that's neither here nor there. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have, like I mentioned, all the other Resident Evil stuff we have covered. Plus, we have a Patreon. You can go vote in our Patreon poll, which I don't know what it is right now because I'm recording this way ahead of time. So definitely go for little star. You can vote in our poll, whatever that is at the moment. I'll definitely go help us out. And you help out the show. You help keep the lights on. So I appreciate that. And please follow Bill's podcast. And I also want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro, courtesy of Bobby, a.k.a. Mike Tony from ZP Bite to Bullet. Song of the Cool Kid Squad. Definitely go check him out. You see a link in the show notes to his YouTube channel. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We are on YouTube, but only audio and not the movies if you're looking for the Marvel movies. It's not Thor Dark World, I promise. It's just a podcast about Thor Dark World. So definitely go check that out. That is everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.